Hey guys, my name is Kane Hensley. This is my digital media presentation over LGBT and Hope Schools in Rural Vista USD 481. Uh, LGBT and Hope Schools, we have 42 total high school students, and only two of those have been or have identified themselves as LGBT. In my 7 years here, which would be roughly probably 100 to 125 students that I have had in high school, only three have identified themselves as LGBT. That includes those two that we currently have now. Okay. Uh, in USD 481, this year we have a total of 81 students between the two high schools, and four have identified as LGBT. We actually have two at each school, which that in turn is only 5% of our students in our district, which would be high school students, identify as LGBT. So as you can see, this is not too much of a problem for us or an issue that is at hand. Um, with those couple of students, we do run into issues just with it being a small Kansas rural community. Obviously, how things are looked at. We do have some issues between students and how they handle these LGBT students, and a couple of name calling and just stuff like that. But for the most part, these students are left alone, and nothing happens. Okay. Uh, Here's some statistics on LGBT. Based on a survey of 12,000 student respondents ages 13 to 17 in the United States, all 50 states at least had a respondent. So the first one, 70% of LGBT teenagers were surveyed reported feeling depressed or down over the past week. 95% of LGBTQ youth report trouble sleeping at night, which could be probably related to anxiety or even just depression and stuff like that. More than 70% report feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness in the past week. Only 26% say they always feel safe in their school classrooms, and just 5% say all of their teachers and school staff are supportive. That is something that really worries me and concerns me. All students need to feel safe and need to feel that their teachers and the school staff support them. And then 67% report that they've heard family members make negative comments about LGBTQ people, which is another thing that worries me too. Once you have your family criticizing you and the LGBT community, if you are part of that community, and also your school staff and teachers and possibly even students, then things aren't right and you need to get help. Let's go. Okay, LGBT student issues, as we kind of talked about before: low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, social or suicidal ideations, family issues, bullying, harassment, discrimination, violence, social avoidance, which just pretty much means staying away, avoiding other students or anybody else, isolation, which goes along with social avoidance, tobacco use, alcohol use, and drug use. Those last three, is it's been found that the LGBT students have been shown to have a higher use of tobacco, alcohol, and drugs. Okay, so supporting LGBT students. We need to educate all students about not only LGBT, but all other uh, diversity situations that schools have. We need to train and educate staff. Our staff needs to be educated on what to do and handle these students. And again, not just for LGBTQ students, but for all students and anything that can happen. We need to have a creation of safe spaces. These students need to know of places where they can go, where they can get help, and just have maybe their own time. We need to establish outside resources. I'm in a small school district, so we necessarily don't have all the resources needed for these students. We need to be able to find a resource that these students can use. Okay, and here's my reference page. Thank you all.